It's essentially the same question as the former deputies are in number 1 and 2. So just if I could pick up on some of those points, Minister, you said about the delay in some of the cases before the panel, that 65 of them were before 2000 and some of them go back to 69, as if that was some problem that couldn't be overcome. I mean, you pardoned somebody yesterday who was hanged in 1941, so time isn't a reason for not doing this. And the biggest point of concern is that you've said is where people have gone through procedures before, there's probably nothing that can be done for them. This is a huge issue, because the issue that they're raising is they went through the procedures were faulty, and that's what the panel has been asked to look at, really.
Well, I was only, in terms of the time, I wasn't using that as an excuse. I was just saying that they are complex cases that have been through a lot of different procedures. And of course, the very point of the review mechanism is to establish if there has been, as you describe it, as a fault in terms of the processes that were used at the time, if something was missed, if there was a miscarriage in some way, if there was behaviour that's unacceptable, if some issue wasn't explored properly, if the investigation wasn't complete. And that's the judgment call that we asked the independent review panel to make in relation to their examination of the cases. And so that is precisely what they have been asked to do. We were asking for a very comprehensive, professional analysis, much like we've seen happening in relation to other cases, where there's very detailed examination of all of the information available and a recommendation made. Indeed, that was the procedure that, was the case you mentioned, where there was a pardon, there was an investigation, there was a review of all the material, and a decision was taken. What we're doing here is we're asking both senior and junior counsel to analyse the cases, to look at all of the actions that have happened, to review all of the material, and on the basis of that review to say if they think further action is needed. And it's a completely independent process. It's an independent legal process of analysis of the material. And where extra information has come in, as I say, even though the case might have been concluded, if extra information has come in, that has been handed back as well. As we've had the discussions here in the House, and I've made it clear that all of the written information submitted will be examined. Some of the complainants have indeed sent in extra material, and all of that is being analysed and will be analysed.
Actually hasn't been the case with the people who've participated with the panel, and the problem is that there's no transparency or accountability. We can't challenge you unless we've direct evidence from them, which we do. And I'll use the example of the Tuohy's case, where evidence emerged which years had been missing of 17 CCTV footage tapes on the night that Shane Tuohy was murdered. There was a request made that the panel would look at this. And you said that was a matter for the Gardaí, when the Gardaí are at the heart of the problem as to why these people went to the panel. So I really think you've created a huge problem. And given the soundings that you're making, I think we'll have a real problem when you start writing out to people with some of the responses.
Well, we're the first government who's taken a group of cases like this that people have had concerns about. We put a process in place to examine them in good faith. It is an independent process. All of the information that is available on each of the cases, I have said, can be made available to the panel. Any information they can seek extra information if there is some standout issue that hasn't been addressed. And as I say, I will be. Clearly, the information in the first instance is for each of the particular complainants to get a response, and I'll start doing that after Easter. And I've also asked for a summary report of the process, which I will publish.
Thank you. That completes question time for